Well, I mean, I honestly think the defense is sitting there this game seeing this guy's giving us a chance. This guy's keeping us in it. And like you said, like the D line improved as the game went on. I don't think that was all scheme. I think a lot of that is just believing that you're the one responsible if you lose now, you know? Like on the defense, you're sitting there saying, this offense is balling out. They gave us 32 points here, and we gotta get some stops. We gotta figure stuff out here. We got and they came to play in that fourth quarter. They were making plays, and I think that's the impact that a quarterback who can put up these points has on a whole team. Like they were in this game and they had to make plays, or else it's their ass on the line. You know?
Yeah, I mean, dude, I was begging for a stop in that second half. Like it felt like you said, beat on. It came to a point where I think it felt like the first stop that they got was in the second half, and I wasn't sure if that was right or not. But like,
I think the
actually,
first stop
true stop
was halftime. That was like the first time they didn't give up a touchdown, and then
at the half,
and then the first real stop was in the second half. It was
and even one of those was like, dude, Tua just missed I think it was the tight end.
The tight end turned around. The tight end turned around, and Tua threw it as he turned around. Then when he turned his head back, the ball was there, so he wasn't able to make the play. But without having to see more than just a week, and two, I had the Chargers game on a second screen. I saw Khalil Mack literally rip the ball and someone's soul out of their body and completely flipped that game, even though the Chargers farted on their nuts to almost lose it after that. The Bears defense that we saw today is the worst iteration of the Bears defense that these two eyes have seen and can remember. I promise you that was fucking awful. I know it's not about wins and losses this year, but in the first half, every time I looked up, Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle was in an area that if you threw a grenade instead of a football, the only person that's blowing up is Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. And I hope people don't clip just that part because that'd be awful. But maybe the referee, because the referee was in there on one of them too, actually. But the Bears defenders took zone coverage to a different level to the point where it's like, yo, you gotta get in there a little bit, man. Like they were just getting bombed on.
Yeah, I mean, I have a hard time assessing anything from the secondary right now. I believe the secondary is pretty talented, but a secondary can only do so much when the linebackers are, not getting great depth in their coverage and not fast enough to do anything when they do. And I mean, we saw it all game. They were killing the middle of the field between the safeties and the linebackers, that little hole right there, because the linebackers couldn't make up ground in it. And the safeties were further back because they're going to get burned deep because of that. Or yards after catch because of that if they're not playing that deep. And with the defensive line the way it is right now, I mean, Tua got touched twice today. I wouldn't be shocked if this defense, the front six on the defense, we had 5 new starters come next year. I mean, it's not a unit that you can count on right now.
There was one play where I saw Jack Sanborn attempting to cover Tyreek Hill, and I'm just
You can't.
Well, we talked about it in the pregame. The offense dictates matchups. They dictate coverage matchups, and they're going to create that if you give them the opportunity. And it's hard for the Bears not to give them an opportunity when your defensive roster is where it is.
Or Jack Sanborn, dude.
I agree, though, because it's like, for the most part all game, they were not getting any pressure at all, too. So it's like, we knew this was an uphill battle for this secondary because of the speed. It's already an uphill battle once you start the game. And man, like you give them all that time, like there's no way. And then you got guys playing on hills too, like that shouldn't be in certain situations. It's like, man, I really don't understand. But that's just what's going to happen when you're just that outmatched. You're outclassed in that department when you have a team that, like the front seven, like you said, Quentin. I feel like, we could be talking about maybe it's up for like, are they going to go in free agency for the defense and like really spend big in free agency for the defense and then just try to draft high profile offensive players like towards the upper rounds, or like, I don't know.
I'll tell you what I think. I think they're going to be taking one of, I mean, it all depends on where they draft, but if they're in the top, 7 picks, there's a real chance Will Anderson falls to them or Jalen Carter out of Georgia. The defensive end is Will Anderson. The 3 tech is Jalen Carter. And I think they're going to have a really hard time passing on either of those guys just because you're not going to find an edge rusher like that or a 3 tech like that in free agency. You won't. They're not available.
Dude, Will Anderson is a freak. I will lose my mind if we get Will Anderson.
But yeah, part of the conversation when Poles told Eberflus that Roquan Smith was no longer with the team was like, yeah, so I got a job for you this weekend. I need you to stick Jack Sanborn on Tyreek Hill and try and just figure it the fuck out. Good luck.
Yeah.
If that was in the put that on the bulletin board.